Hello, welcome to the Prairie Dog and the Raven. We are husband and wife knitters trying to keep track of our knitting from the very beginning. My name is Andrea.
And I'm Jeremy. And this is episode 1 of our knitting podcast.
If you are new to the channel, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back to join us again. Well, you for the first time.
Me for the first time.
But it's the end of July 2026. So we wanted to sit down and go over kind of all of the different things that we were knitting over the month of July.
And we have a lot of finished projects, some more from one person than the other.
A little.
Well, it doesn't matter. I didn't realize you did this many projects during the month of July. And it looks like my little pile, like a little pile. But we'll go over our finished projects we had. We've both got some works in progress, one of each of us. And then maybe we'll do a little discussion of what's going to be our next projects coming up in the future.
Yeah, if you're interested in anything that we talk about, links to our Ravelry, Instagrams, designers, yarn, anything that we talk about in the podcast, I'll try and have it linked in the description box down below. So
I guess it's time to go through all of our finished projects, which are mostly yours.
So the first thing I want to talk about is what I'm wearing, and it is my Tolsta Tank square neck 4-ply version by Rebecca Clow, and it is the second Tolsta Tank that I actually knit, but the first one that did not get frogged. So I really like it. I made it out of Knitting for Olive pure silk in the color Pea Shoots, and it was my very first time using fingering weight yarn.
And it's a very nice color on you.
Oh, thank you. And it's like a light fingering weight, I would call it. I don't know. It's like embroidery floss to me.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's embroidery floss.
So it's definitely interesting for me. But the fabric is great. It's really lightweight. It's great for the summer. Here in North Carolina, like I said, it's the end of July, and so it's been in the 90s Fahrenheit, and so it's been nice to have tank tops.
You're not knitting wool. You're not knitting sweaters. You're trying to get as little material to wear outside as possible.
Basically, and this is a very lightweight one, so I'm really happy about it. And there are a couple, things that were interesting to me. I learned some new techniques in it. I still need to work on my ribbing a lot, but this one actually has a knit notes video. So if you want to check it out, I talk all about just this top and the experience knitting it and all that kind of thing. So if you want to see that, I might put a card up in the corner and you can check out the knit notes out if you want to see that. So what's your first finished object?
Okay. Needless to say, I'm new to knitting. Even newer than she was. I didn't start till, well, let's look here. So the first item I finished, I started June 13th. So here's a little hint. My first finished object, I didn't even finish in July. I finished it in June. We're going to show it now, though. So I started knitting maybe the first or second week of June. So is it perfect? Absolutely not.
Yeah, but you started with a project. I started with like swatches and coasters, so it's much better than whatever my first project was.
I made an attempt to do a swatch, and I just kept knitting and knitting and knitting, and I got 6 to 8 inches wide and maybe 2 inches. Like, okay, I'm starting a project. I'm good enough. Yeah, I needed more practice, but
it's still pretty good, though.
It's still, for my first project and the first thing I did, it's really good. I'm actually going to use your microphone so I can hold it up. Okay. So this is the SSC Cowl by Laura Aylor.
Aylor?
Aylor. Yeah, Aylor. Laura Aylor. I've got it in Ravelry. It is a simple knit purl cowl. So just started. It is done using the leftover. Andrew did a pillow previously, so I used the leftover wool from that. It was the Lion Brand 2 of Wands Hue and Me.
Oh yeah, from the Moonstone Plaid blanket.
Yeah, so bulky weight in the color Werewolf. Black, Raven, come on. Yeah, of course I'm going to do that. So I enjoyed it. It does have issues. Since I was not as good at my knitting, I do have a couple drop knits in here. I've got the ones I love the most is actually these two that line up perfectly for vampire bites. That's what I call it. But the biggest issues I had was not being knowledgeable enough to actually do the proper cast on and cast off. So as you'll see, no stretch with this cast on that I did. Lots of stretch for my cast off. So the instructions did not tell me what to use in my cast on. So I just went with what I learned as a beginner, which wasn't the best for the
It
project.
was just a regular long tail.
Yeah, it's just regular long tail cast on. So, but I learned how to knit in the round, which I'd never done before, and did that. Biggest issue is I have a big head. So I knitted it per pattern because why am I going to go off on my own whenever it's my very first pattern? So I knitted it per the pattern and it's too small a little bit. So whenever we blocked it, I very aggressively stretched it as much as I could. I can get it over my head now in a twist. I'm not going to do it right now because, yeah, that takes too long, but it does.
And it's hot. It'll be
It's
like a choker.
hot.
It'll be like a choker.
It's 90 plus degrees outside right now.
And we're upstairs in the
Yeah.
house, so it's
So,
warm
but
with heat rising.
the best thing is, like, it's a finished project. I did this. I'm happy with it.
You should be.
It was done on the purl side as the sides out, so the knit's on the inside. Yeah, I had a couple drop stitches in there. But overall, I'm very happy with the project and how it came out. And even though I don't usually wear stuff like this, I will use it. I'll have reasons to use it because I made it. So let's see here. So basically, I cast it on June 13th, and I finished it June 21st.
That was quick.
Yep.
For your
Needle
first
size
project.
for it was 10.5 US or 6.5 millimeter. The gauge, there's no real gauge to it. It was literally 3.5 stitches per inch was what she said for the instructions. There's a one sheeter on a blog post that I was linked to from the Ravelry page.
Oh, it was a free pattern, right?
It's a free pattern. Yeah, this is a free pattern. But again, it was my first one. And biggest learn was I should have did a different cast on, probably German twisted. Same thing with the cast off, and then also cast it on more stitches so it would have been bigger. Little disclaimer. Sorry for that little pause there, but as you can hear over our talking for this podcast, we live in a zoo. So
Basically.
I am sorry if you hear animals squawking or meowing in the background. We're in a room closed up, and they're still being that loud.
Georgia's a yellow-naped Amazon, so she's very talkative. And then Murphy can hear us in here, so he's
a very person-friendly.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't have his person near him, he's going to be crying for it. So.
But Miss Kitty is in here with us, and they don't get along. So he's a people person. He's not an animal person.
Correct.
Cat.
So,
animal cat.
Animal cat.
People cat.
So we'll continue on with this podcast, but again, sorry for the noise you're hearing from animals in the background.
So the next finished projects I have were all from scrap yarn, from leftover stuff that I had from previous projects that we had made. The first one was a lot like he used some of the Werewolf Hue and Me from the Moonstone plaid blanket. And so I made a on the bias throw pillow with some of the other yarn from that.
I just now realized I gave spoiler because I said I used it from the pillow, not from the blanket.
Oh.
Oops.
Spoiler alert. So I did make this pillow, and I made the inserts. Also, we had a lot of muslin fabric around the house and fiberfill and all kinds of random stuff. So I made the pillow insert and did this, and I really actually like this pillow. But we still have more.
Yes.
Of that Hue and Me yarn.
It's actually behind us in the very back. There's still 2 full skeins plus a partial, 3 partials. Jeez. I didn't realize there was that much.
There's a lot still. He made a cowl. I made this pillow. I made the Moonstone plaid blanket. So if you make a Moonstone plaid blanket in order
by the numbers that they give you,
you'll have a lot to make a lot of projects. So I probably will still make another pillow
I mean, you
So
need to
we'll
make
have
a
two
matching
of them.
set.
I know I do need a set. So this was the first one of the projects I made, and that's a blog post where I made a lot of the different scrappy things from there. I made 2 scrunchies in that video. One of them I gave to my mom, and this is the other one. It's the stockinette scrunchie by Bryn Barnes, and this is in the color California Adventure from Sewrella's Disneyland Collection, and it was also the yarn that I made my wisteria tank from.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the leftover from that. And then the other thing that I made to use up the rest of that yarn was this horseshoe bookmark from like a bookmark trio. And so I'll have all that stuff linked below. The other bookmark I made 2 of those California Adventure horseshoe bookmarks, and I sent one to one of my friends who lives in Maine. And it was funny because she texted me that her partner delivered the envelope to her as she was reading a book, so it was like perfectly fitting that she got it. She got it at exactly the right time. So the other one I made for Jeremy in the color Hitchhiking Ghosts.
Hitchhiking Ghost. I love this color.
From Sewrella.
Yes.
I made his raven beanie out of this, and the leftover I made a scrunchie for myself, and then this is the lace leaf bookmark. So that is the pattern that I made out of that. So that was some of the scrappy projects that I made. The little finished objects. I'm a monogamous knitter, so that's why it always seems like I have a lot of things, but I do one thing all the way through and then do something else all the way through. So I tend to finish like little things like this a lot quicker because I don't have them all kind of piled up.
But no matter what, you finished a lot of stuff really quickly because I mean you have 3 right there, but there's an additional 2 that's not there.
So the other
that's just 5.
And the
that's
other bookmark.
6 right there, and that's not all of them.
It's not all of them.
Well, yeah,
for July.
Yeah, for July. You're not even done. You have what's still in front of us to go.
Well, I started this in June, so I mean, I did finish it in July, but.
Oh, so add to your finished items, making me look really bad now. I've only got 2 more finished items.
It's fine.
I know.
I'm an overachiever, I guess.
No, but I'm still having fun doing mine. So that's the main thing. We didn't know when I started if I was going to enjoy it, and I have really enjoyed knitting. So. So I guess I'm up next since you've already shown all that. Okay, so the next one I had was actually a project that we planned for when Andrea started knitting. So there was a couple of projects that she's like, okay, what do you want? We'll buy the yarn and I'll make them whenever I get to it. Well, then I started knitting and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do one of those projects. I'm actually going to do 2 of them. She did the Raven Beanie. I love it. But the other 2 projects, I've already done one. I've got one more to go. So this one, I was ambitious. And we learned a lot, actually, from the Raven Beanie. Because we use the same yarn. It's the Sewrella Classic Worsted.
I used nylon DK for the Raven Beanie.
What's this?
That is classic worsted.
Yeah, this is classic worsted.
Yeah.
But we went...
They're both super wash, though.
They're both super wash. We found a lot out with the Raven Beanie that had a lot of stretch to it. So when planning what size I was going to do, I went down a size and planned. I made the wrong decision. Should have measured. I did the swatch. I did everything the right way and then still decided, you know what? Actually, no, I'm not going to even say I did the swatch right. I did a swatch for stockinette.
Oh.
There's no stockinette. It tells you to do a stockinette swatch.
Yeah.
But
there is no stockinette in it, really.
It's the Antler Toque by Tin Can Knits. Love this beanie. The cable pattern, like I said, I was ambitious. I started cables.
I haven't even done cables yet.
As my second project. And you know what? My cables look good.
They do look good.
I'm proud of my cables.
They do look really good.
Now, I do.
It looks like you've been knitting a really long time for that to be the second thing you've ever made.
I do have a dropped area, which I will gladly say it's right there. We had life happening, and
It happens a lot.
It happens a lot in this house, but it happened. And I've learned since this that when life happens, you put down your needles. I tried to push through, and that was definitely the wrong thing because, as you see, that lasted for about an inch on that pearl section. And I tried to get it fixed. I finally did get it fixed. Didn't mess up I didn't mess up my cables. Still looks good. I'm still happy with it. But yeah, so this is the Antler Toque by Tin Can Knits.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I'll let you use the microphone.
Is it a free pattern too?
It is also a free pattern. And very user friendly. It explains everything really well. And I really enjoyed it. I had fun doing this. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was trying to push through it.
The color's really nice too.
Color's really nice. This is the Sewrella Classic Worsted in the color State of Grace by her Taylor Swift Eras collection. Yes, we got on a Sewrella kick right off the bat and got some great colors that we made a lot of stuff from. So we really are enjoying those. But like I said, I tried to learn from the Raven Beanie that she did and what we learned about the Superwash Merino from Sewrella. So I did this in an adult small, which is for a 21-inch head. My head is 23 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in doing so, and where I'm now saying my swatch was wrong, it tells you to swatch in stockinette. But the whole thing is mostly cable. I should have swatched in cables. Because I think between the fact that I knitted it a size smaller, and then because I'm brand new, I'm a tight knitter, my cables were really tight. So even when it relaxes, it just gets over. It's actually where it sits on my head, I'm actually happy with. I'm not going to put it on because my hair is fixing like I'm going to mess up my hair right now. It'll sit right where I like it, right over my ears and everything. So I'm completely happy with it.
Because you don't want it completely covering your ears.
My head gets too hot. I was like, I don't want to cover my ears all the way. But is that what it's supposed to be? No. Is it going to work for me? Absolutely. So I started this at the end of June, and I actually casted it off right before July 4th on July 3rd. Did the adult small, did this. Let's see here. The ribbing was done in the US 8, so 5mm circulars, and the pattern is done in US 6s, which is 4mm circular needles. What else can I say about this? Free pattern. Things I learned on this pattern was during doing the German twisted cast on. Hey, I learned something about the next project. I learned how to do decreases, which I'd never done before. And I learned how to do the C4B and the C4F cabling, which gives you the antler design. So that was the method that they used to make that. So I had to look up some YouTube videos to learn how to do those cable methods.
And they're in our helpful
playlist.
Videos.
Yep.
Yeah, helpful tutorial playlist.
And the thing that was not helpful that I could not find. And if you have instructions that tell you to do something, you should just read the instructions because it's usually better. One thing I messed up was actually when I started doing the cable decreases. I watched a YouTube video on how to do the C4B, C4F decreases, but it was different from what the instructions told me to do. So I actually decreased too many stitches too quickly, but I compensated because I caught it on the next round. So I was able to fix it. That's why the top antler looks a little bit tighter, but I was still able to fix it and everything, and it still looks great. I'm still happy with it, especially for this being my second project I ever did. Mm-hmm. That's the main things I learned from this, and it will be used this winter, fall, whenever it actually turns cold here in North Carolina.
If it does.
If it does. It should. It's just we don't know when. I was going to say that I was about to give you my microphone, but you don't really need my microphone because you're wearing what your finished object is this time.
I made a change.
Well, go for it.
So this is the latest finished object that I have, and it is the city top version by Toriu, and I knit it also in Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, and this one is the color French Anemone, I believe.
I cannot say that word.
It's a really pretty purple,
Mm-hmm.
indigo-y
A really nice color.
I really like it a lot. But this was a really fun top to knit. Also, I did a knit notes on this one as well, where I talk all about everything, problems, issues, the pattern itself, all that kind of thing. So if you want to see a more in-depth version of what we're doing right now, you can check out the knit notes episode, and you'll be doing your first knit notes once you finish your work in progress, right?
I will eventually have a knit notes episode whenever that little project happens.
Yeah, this is my fourth
One, two,
garment
your fourth garment
that I've made. The very first one was frogged. Rip. First Tolsta tank. But I made the wisteria, and then the second Tolsta, and then now this one, the city, and I really like it.
Yep.
The thing that I don't mind it, how the strap, my bralette straps show. So I would probably wear something not with straps on it if I wore this out, but also it's really lightweight, so I could wear it with a layer over it. Sometime like in the fall or the winter. Yeah, I don't have one right now, but hopefully I'll be able to make one later on in the year, maybe. I think that would be nice. Yep. But so that is this one. It's got some really cool details. It's got my first time doing twisted rib, so that was really nice. I really like the way that twisted rib looks, and it has it like down here and then down the sides also. So it's a really cool pattern, and I think I used my Prim needles for this one, didn't I? I didn't use the Chow Goose.
No.
So I like to take a break. Chow Goose, with this yarn in particular, to me, yeah, I poke my fingers a lot with Chow Goose, but with this yarn in particular, with Chow Goose, it's really splitty because of how pointy they are.
Yes.
So I used the Prims, and then I also knitted this a little bit longer than the pattern, not a little bit, a bit longer than what the pattern called for, because I didn't want it nearly as cropped. If I would have knit it, it would have been probably about how my wisteria tank is. It was very short. It was like 9 inches.
Based the length of it off of, was it your Tolsta?
No, it was a shirt that I had. I think my Tolsta is like 13 inches. I think this one's 15 and a half.
I remember you was basing off of a length of another.
The armhole down. I think this one's 15 and my Tolsta was 13.
Yeah. You did add a lot to it.
I did, but I'm really happy with the length of this one. So I can wear it with jeans or, like I said, anything really. It's a really nice shirt, and the fabric is great, and I love the color. And so, I mean, you still have another finished object.
I have one more.
You were like, oh, you've got so many finished objects.
Well,
you have another one.
I had to pull from June to get a third project.
I started my Tolsta in June, so it counts.
Okay, we'll count it just because no one has seen it before. That's where I'm willing to give the leeway.
Yeah, nobody's seen
it before, so I'm fine with that. So my third finished object, shocker, it's another beanie. There is a lack of good beginner knitted items you can actually knit for a guy. I'm not going to say there's not good knitted items out there, but for someone to learn from, it's just hard to find things. I'm like, okay, I can learn this, I can do it, and feel good about tackling it. Like my work in progress, I'm probably going beyond where I should be, but you know what? I'm enjoying it.
So I think you're doing a good job at it.
But the third finished object I have is my 2x2 beanie by Anne Gagnon. Is that what we said?
Gagnon?
I'm
not sure.
Gagnon. It's one of the most popular beanie patterns, I think, on Ravelry. Last time I looked, it had over 10,000 projects, and there's probably more than that. I should have looked to see how many projects it's up to now. So this was done on a 2x2 rib. The gauge for it was 22 stitches for every 2x2 ribbing. But it didn't really matter because it's the ribbing, and you got a lot of leeway with it because of how much it stretches everything. And I did this with a US 6, which is 4mm, 16-inch circulars. So very well written instructions. It's a one pager, I mean, it literally tells you you're going to do this for this many inches. Then you're going to start reducing, and this is how you're going to reduce it. And it worked out great. I don't. This is the first project I had no visual issues that I know of. If there are some, I don't. I wait. No, I do know
Did you
one.
have problems with the tweed?
The tweed is a problem.
Oh.
Yep. So the yarn, I love the tweed look, but this is the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes tweed worsted in the color Lost Lake Heather. So the problem is with the tweed, and if you're using Prim, at least in my case, I'm not gonna say everybody has this problem, because I'm having the same problem with my other working project. The tweed sticks out so much that if you run the Prim to do your knits
or any needle really, the Chalgy does it too.
Yeah, actually, it was the Chalgies that I did this on,
Mm.
but I was hitting the tweed and splitting it, so it had a tendency to split very easily. But I made it work, and it still looks great. I did the size 23 to 24, which is the adult large. I did make a modification.
Did you?
I did, because you were supposed to knit to, I think it was 8.5 inches if you was doing the adult small, and you're supposed to go to 9.5 inches before you start your reductions. I went in the middle because, as we spoke about with the antler tuck, I'm not fond of too much stuff over my ears. I stopped at 9 inches before I started doing the reductions, and this already gives me an over 3 inch brim.
Mm-hmm.
That's way too much for my head.
I don't think I like stuff over my ears either. I think it's because I wear glasses, and if I have something that is over my ear with my glasses on, it like pushes my glasses onto my head.
So the brim is a little bit longer than I want to, but you know what? I can live with it. It's fine. I like the beanie. It's a very well written. Like I said, it's a one pager. It's a free pattern. If you haven't done this pattern and you love beanies, you should go out there and do it just because it's a really good one to do.
So all of those patterns that you use were free?
1, 2, 3. All of my finished projects are free patterns.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I adjusted the length. I did this in 10 days, actually. So, with my knitting schedule, because I do other things also, I got this done in 10 days. So, I think that's really good for the amount of time and the fact that I'm a brand new knitter.
Mm-hmm. Is that all of our finished objects now?
That is all of the finished objects. I think the only thing we got left is our works in progress.
All right, I guess we'll do those then.
I just went over my last finished object, but I'm going to go ahead and go into my work in progress. So both of us only work on one project at a time.
You're a monogamous knitter.
Monogamous knitter. So
monogamous knitter.
Don't get my tongue started because you know that it'll keep up. So when I started looking at patterns and everything, there was one designer that, those two caught my eye really quickly, but this one, a lot of his stuff stands out more than any of, and it's Maxim Sear, or Max the Knitter on most of his social media accounts. Love his designs, just the look and the feel and everything, and just how he can take something so basic and make it look so good.
So basic.
So basic. So I'm doing the So Basic sweater in the DK. Let me go ahead and grab it. So I have been working on this. When did I start this? 18th. So
today's the
10 days?
30th. Yeah.
10, 12 days.
Mm-hmm.
So not quite 2 weeks. And his instructions are so well written that even somebody as new as I could take it, work through German short rows on the back.
Mm-hmm. I still haven't even done German
do the
short
raglan
rows.
increases, do this nice 5x1 ribbing on the arms.
Yeah, I like that.
And I'm actually to the point I've gone through, this is the last of my second ball of Knit Picks City Tweed in the color Orca. Yeah, Orca. So another one with tweed. Same problem with the Chalgoos. I'm having issues where I'm splitting it a little bit, but
poking it into the tweeds?
Poking it into the tweed, splitting the yarn a little bit. it's more me than the yarn. It's probably it's more like what it is. It's like
The
I'm not.
chalkers are so sharp.
They're so sharp. I can't blame it on the yarn because it's more likely just me. But this pattern, like I said, the pattern is wonderful. He explains everything so well. It is a paid pattern. It is $9 Canadian. I got it in June, and he was doing a 20% off sale. So I can't tell you how much I actually paid for it. I think $5.79 is what I actually paid for it. Because he was doing a discount for June for Pride Month.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So I knew I was going to knit it. I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. So I bought it and everything. So yeah, I can't say enough about this pattern. It's like I am one row away from starting the next section of my pattern to start working towards separating for sleeves and then hopefully working in the round shortly after that. So, like I said, ball 3 starts tonight, and that leaves me with 7 more balls of City Tweed to go through after that. And that is if I'm not short, because I'm doing size 4, so that was supposed to be 1,200 yards of yarn. I bought 1,230 yards. I did a swatch, so I have the swatch I can pull from. I'm hoping that that little buffer all pattern makers add is a little bit more so that I can actually feel good about it. But
Now you can take out your gauge swatch.
basically, but yeah, like I said, it's like I've learned a few new techniques doing this, and I've really enjoyed the pattern. I sit there, and for me, it's like with the pattern, I had to put up my iPad, be able to look at it every single row, so I know exactly what I'm doing. But I'm finally getting to the point where I was like, I can sit there and actually do the pattern. I know it. I know how to do the reductions, the lean left, lean right increases. It's like I had to. We got the videos.
M1R and
M1R and M1L. Yep, I had to do it both knit side and purl side. So during the German increase, which anybody who does German short rows will know exactly what I'm talking about. But I had to watch the videos every single time I did a row.
I don't know what you're talking about because I haven't done that yet.
You'll figure that out whenever you get to a garment where you've been using German short rows. But that's my work in progress right now, and I'm really enjoying it right now. So what do you got? I'll take that.
Hopefully, my yarn cake kind of exploded, so it's just like a big ball of mess right now.
I'll hold it.
But I am working on the Framework Bralette by Jessie Made Designs. And it is knit in the Classic DK from Sewrella in the color Sleeping Beauty's Castle from the Disneyland Collection, I think. And I am, I don't know, quite almost finished with it actually, but I've got.
It feels like she started this like 2 days ago. It's how it feels.
I don't know what day I started it on.
You didn't start that long ago.
I don't know, but it's I've been working on it a few days, but it's DK, and I just finished that fingering project. So
I know.
It seems like it's really, really fast. But so I've got 2 more of the triangles and the straps on this backside here that I'm working on right now. And then I will sew these straps with the ones on the other side, and then I'll be able to block it and everything. So it shouldn't be too much longer till I.
So she'll have another finished project before I have mine.
But it will be an August finished project, not a
That
July
is true.
one.
So hopefully I have an August one also with you.
But I love this color, the variegated yarn, how it looks in this pattern. And then what did I learn in this? Oh, double knitting is something I learned for the first time in this. The straps are double knit. I don't remember what other things I learned. Oh, central single decrease. Yeah, CSD. I think that's centered single decrease, I believe. That's up here. So that was a new thing that I've learned. And I just really like all of the different textures that it kind of creates with just slip stitches and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really, really cool pattern. It's worked up really quickly, and like it should only take me 1 skein of the Classic DK to make. So if I find a variegated yarn that I just like, that I only want one skein of,
Mm-hmm.
I think this would be a good
It wouldn't
project
be a
for me to
problem.
use because I
Where
like it.
it's always been whenever we're discussing yarns, well, if you get one skein, what are you going to make with it? For me, it's going to be a beanie. I mean, it's my easy answer, but it's always for her is like, what can you actually make with one skein?
And I like it too. I knit it in size small
Yes.
because I based on she gives you really good measurements of how to pick a size, and I kind of fall right in between small and medium, but there's also a giant spreadsheet of all of
Mm-hmm.
the test knitters and things that how they and most a lot of them that knit the medium that was like the same bust size as me in their notes said that they would have knit a small. So,
Yes.
and also since I know how much Sewrella
Stretches.
100% superwash merino stretches, I definitely
Yes.
wanted to err on the side of caution and knit the small versus the medium because I didn't want it to be too big.
And you put on barber cords today and did a little
Yeah,
test fit, and it looked like it was going to be
yeah,
great.
without it being blocked.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit tight obviously, but once I block it I think it'll be perfectly fine.
Yes.
And I really, like I said, I really like the color. I like this pattern a lot. It really makes me want to knit some more Jessie Made design patterns because of how enjoyable it
And
was
also
to knit.
the use of texture she uses. I mean,
Yeah.
those it's a very good mix of
Mm-hmm.
textures.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, with just knits and pearls, basically, or like rib or slip stitches and all those kinds of things
Mm-hmm.
is what it does. What's it made from? So I think it's a great pattern. So if you need a bralette, you should try out the framework bralette because it's a really good pattern. I like it so
It
far.
looks really nice.
Yeah, I think I have. If I have a photo, I don't know if I do. I'll put it up here of me trying it on.
She'll put it over my face.
I'll put it over your face so you can see me trying it on. But yeah, I think those are our two work in
Yep.
progresses. So the next thing we probably want to talk about will be the next projects that we want to
Yeah.
work on after we finish the works in progress.
Since I've been talking a little bit too much this time, I feel like.
I'm not talking too much.
Well, I think you can talk a little bit about your next
You're
project.
better at talking in general than I am.
Well, I'm more around more people than you are.
That is true. I'm around more animals, so it seems like I'm talking to myself most of the time.
That's true. So her talking to the camera right now is the most talking she does to a person other than myself, usually,
Basically.
unless her mom's here. Then she does a lot of talking.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, what are you planning next?
Well, it's still very warm and summery here. So
Shocker.
I don't want to go into sweater mode like you just yet.
I didn't know how long it would take me to do a sweater.
So I do have a couple short sleeve shirts that I want to work on, but I think I'm going to save those until maybe after the next project.
Yeah.
So I have this really pretty purpley blue color from Sewrella. It's from the Era's Yarn Club
Yep.
collection.
Same one
State of Grace was
Yep.
from. It is called Now That We Don't Talk, and it is in the cashmere sock base,
Fancy.
which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. And so what I think I want to knit this out of, since you were so fancy and did cables, I wanted to dip my toes into cables just a
You're
little
going to
bit.
enjoy it.
I'm gonna try. I haven't done cables yet. I've done lace, which I did like. So foreshadowing. Am I doing more lace? Oh, you're doing lace. Oh, so I think I'm going to try and make the Hope tank by Gudrun Fessel. It's a really nice tank top, and it's got like cables along the neckline, along the armholes. And so I think that is going to be my first kind of foray into cables. I bought 2 skeins of this because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to make out of it at the time. Usually I know what I'm going to make ahead of time.
There's only been, I think that might be the only time we've actually bought yarn with no planned project, just because you absolutely love that color.
I really, really like it's No, it's brighter than this.
It's brighter than
brighter
that.
than
Ever
this.
since we started knitting, she's been wanting almost an electric blue.
And this is like electric purple.
It's electric purple
That's
with a
really
blue
cool.
tone to it.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
So it fits it checks the boxes.
It does. It's one of my favorite colors. And so I'm really looking forward to making another tank top. Not necessarily going back to a fingering weight garment. However, it's fingering weight, so I've got to do it. And I'm going to do that before I go into another like DK kind of merino project, which will be later. So, but this will be the next, hopefully the Hope Top by Gudrun Fessel will be the next project after I finish this framework bralette in the next few days.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do?
For me, I know where I'm going. Sad part is I actually have yarn where I can start a project right now if I wanted to after this, because I have actually some fingering weight yarn from Sewrella to do the Stormwatch beanie, but that's not going to be it.
Is it Stormwatch?
Stormwatch.
Storm Sailor.
Storm Sailor.
Storm Sailor.
Storm Sailor beanie.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be my next project. I actually have a 94-year-old grandmother who I love dearly. She's always cold. And we've been discussing it. It's like, oh, it'd be great if I could knit her a shawl. We never could really find like a design that stood out to me. I was like, for a long time, I was looking at Rastus. What's his last name?
I'm not sure.
Rastus, I think Rastus Hughes patterns, his origami shawls. Beautiful shawls, but they were just so long. My grandmother,
she's tiny.
She might be 4'10". She's small. She's 94. I was like, that's good. That just swallow her whole. We were watching a YouTube video, and Andrew's like, this might be the one you want to do. The YouTuber was Ziggy.
Yeah, Siggy.
From Finland.
I think he's Swedish.
Swedish.
I think Siggy is Swedish, yeah.
But she said, the one he did, you might want to do. So I looked at it. And whenever we looked up more about it, it's like, click. That's the one to do. So it's going to be the Ziggy shawl, which is, it was funny that Ziggy was doing that one. But it's the Ziggy shawl by Layla Raven. So that's going to be the next one. The problem is, I'm still trying to figure out the color of the yarn. I nailed down the color. Now it's figuring out the material. It calls for sport weight. I think the ones that she did was spin cycle,
dyed in the
wool, and I think there
were two different ones. One of them was like a cashmere kid mohair or something, and the other one was like a Surrey alpaca lace, something like that.
So I'm still trying to figure out the materials. The colors, I know where I'm going to. My grandmother wears all colors, but there's some colors she wears more than others, which is like lighter blues. So hopefully I can get that figured out, get it here, and knit it up before I have reasons not to do it anymore. But my plan is to get that done as quickly. Ziggy said he did his in about a week, so I'm hoping I can get it done in about 2 to 3 weeks when I get the yarn. Even if I set that aside, which I really can't because I need those needles. So I just need to zip through that.
You could put it on barber cord because we have it.
Either way, the Ziggy shawl from Layla Raven will probably be my next project.
Cool.
Yeah. I believe that's everything we've got to talk about that we have knitted up in the month of July. So
every time I say it too, knitted, and you say knitted, knit, but they're both correct. I think of losing my knit.
Yes.
Because he said in an episode that he doesn't like it or something.
He doesn't like the word knitted.
When people say knitted, and I'm like, it's just like a habit to me to say it now, and I'm like, oh,
that's what I say.
But I hope it's not cringy or what is it? What do people call it? People get the ick or something if people say words.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not cool enough to know all those things.
Pretty much. But thank you very much for watching our first podcast. Hopefully, we've been enjoyable. Maybe let us know what patterns that you saw us work on that you might enjoy to work on yourself.
Well, I know we have a lot of chaos here. The lighting is weird. All the birds and the cats meowing.
It's the first podcast.
The dogs didn't bark. The dogs didn't bark any though.
That's true. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great night. She says she'll talk for you.
Georgia. She doesn't want us to do a podcast.